guys, Elmarie here from Worcester, Western Cape, South Africa. Today is the 8th of March and episode, I don't know how much. I'm getting close to the 60 count though, which is awesome. Okay, so it is, welcome to anyone who's new. And thank you to all returning viewers. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. This, for anybody who does not know where the Western Cape is, it is like at the bottom part of Africa. And it's Southern Hemisphere, so we are slowly but surely entering autumn. The weather is kind of cooling down, but like this week we are going from, I think today's weather says it's like a maximum of 24, and then we're going down to 21 somewhere during the week, and then we're spiking up to 32. So that's the Western Cape for you. In Cape Town itself, people will tell you we have 4 seasons in one day very easily. Spring and autumn are very, very interesting seasons in the Western Cape. So I am drinking my coffee this morning, second cup. You may notice that there are some colors that I really like. I don't know if you've noticed that before. Well, you will notice it now. Something blue, somewhere something needs to be blue. Don't ask me why. I don't know. So, just to tell you, give you a bit more information about the channel, if you are new, this is my channel about fiber and fiber related stuff. So it will be mostly about knitting and crocheting sometimes, and mostly knitting at the moment though. Dyeing, I have my own hand dye company, a cup of yarn, and then sometimes sewing, because I really do need to sew today. That's a whole different story. I'll talk about that a bit later. Yeah, that's what it's about. It's really just about the creative and craft side of my life. A couple of announcements. Let me just say this. No, I'm not doing a cowl. Did that once. Don't think I'm going to do that again, though. I was contacted a while ago just via email. Now, I know most of the time that's a scam, but it got me thinking that my YouTube channel, okay, somebody asked me to be an ambassador for some clothing line. I don't do that. I really don't. I'm not a gymmer. So I and also because I'm a bit skeptical, I didn't go looking for it. It found me. And then I'm a bit, I'm not going to be ambassador for a clothing line and then I'm actually supporting a brothel. I don't know you. So that's also one of the things about living in South Africa. You get you get suspicious about everything. So yeah, I declined that, but it did get me thinking. I would really like this channel to grow. One of the things that I have found is that YouTube is a fantastic channel for so many different things. And when I started doing the videos, for instance, just the interviews with the people that surround me, now I know that most of them have stuff in books or in a magazine or something, but I honestly feel that the one-on-one and meeting the actual person behind it, that's valuable. So yeah, that's that. I realized that I really do want the channel to grow in terms of members. So I started looking into it. One of the ways to do that for me will be affiliate marketing. So just a heads up to anybody, yes, you're going to hear a lot about things like Skillshare for a while. I'm trying to be an affiliate marketer for them. That's a fantastic platform. And I want to be very picky with what I actually market, because I am picky that way. So the other one I'm looking into is a South African company called Faithful to Nature. They stock organic products, and that's also something very close to my heart. So I'm looking into that, so just be aware of that. Then the other thing I realized is I never ask people to like and subscribe. I just don't. It wasn't on my radar. It wasn't there. It just wasn't part of my thinking process when I opened the channel. So please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the episode. It does help. It helps to grow the audience on the channel. It also helps the people that I'm actually interviewing right now to get more views. The more members I have, the more people who like and subscribe, the more movement I have, the better for them. And they will get more movement on their own YouTube channels or on their Instagram or wherever. So the busier my channel is, the busier they will get. So that's that for now. I don't know if that counts as admin. Anyone who personally knows me will tell you right from the get-go, I'm pathetic with admin. It's one of those things like cleaning the kitchen. You really don't want to, but you know you have to. That's how I feel about that. On to knitting. I have an FO. Wow. I finished a pair of socks. Guys. I really did. They have not been washed and blocked. Again, I block the socks on my own feet. I don't have a sock blocker. That's actually something that I still want to have made and I want to stock, but I don't get there. So I made these with my own yarn. It's one of my hand-dyed colors. I think this is called Mood Swings or something in that direction. You know, I don't keep my own labels. This is what I have left. I could have had a pair of very, very long socks with this yarn. This is actually a great sock yarn. It's a 4-ply, so it's quite sturdy, really. I knitted this with a 2.5 needle, but you can also do a 2.25. I wouldn't go higher than a 2.5 though, unless you are a very, very tight knitter. Then I would say 2.75. But I already got quite a looser fabric out of it. Okay, so it's difficult to explain this, but you can see it in the ribbing. So if you are a very loose knitter, I would suggest that you do the ribbing in a 2.25 on this particular yarn, a 2.25, and then switch over to a 2.5, or just stick to the 2.25. I think I mentioned it before, but okay, I'll just say again, it's 400 meters on 100 gram. So the normal sock yarn I have is 3.25, 3.5, around there, on 100 gram. So you can imagine, I can only say I really like knitting these socks. And I mean, these socks fit me just above my ankle towards my calf. And I prefer my socks that length. I don't really like socks too long. But these are the normal length that I always have, and I can honestly say I can get a pair of gloves out of this still. Just like the fingerless mittens, I can probably still get out of this. So yes, if you want really long socks, you will be able to knit quite long socks with that. That's my Epo. I have an Epo. And actually this color was one of the funny ones that I knit up, and I thought, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but I don't know, I actually like the way it knit up. Okay, just to say again, this is a heel flap and gusset. That's a tutorial I'm doing in Afrikaans. I'll talk about that now. That's been a bit of a challenge. not the actual knitting of the sock, but the recording. Oh, I'll talk about that now. Anyway, so it's a cuff down up to there. So you knit the cuffs to there, and then a reinforced heel. That's the heel flap. And gusset, and just around the toe. Finished off with Kitchener stitch. I love my socks. Okay, let me talk about this quickly. I'm umming a lot again today, sorry. Try not to but I end up umming, I don't know why. I did get the original pattern. It's a very basic vanilla sock recipe, basically. And it's what everybody uses. There's nothing different about it. The pattern is just written in a way that even a beginner sock knitter will understand it. So I'm going to put the link down below again. I did so last time, but I'll do it again. I'll also put the link to the English tutorial for this sock down below. I have the designer's permission to do this. I sort of converted it into Afrikaans, just took the Afrikaans terminology and that sort of thing, and decided to make an Afrikaans video of it, because there are a lot of English sock knitting tutorials, and I know a lot of Afrikaans people have moved to English knitting. It's not difficult. I also know that there are Afrikaans people who have asked. They would really like to see some more Afrikaans tutorials. English isn't everybody's first language, and some Afrikaans people just really don't like English, and especially if you go towards the rural areas. My husband, for instance, grew up in the West Coast. He says he uses his English as a defense mechanism. And he's fine with English. He just doesn't like it very much. He really doesn't like speaking it a lot. So he'll stick to his Afrikaans until he has to speak English. So, and I know that he actually sometimes watches these videos. So, no, I'm not gossiping behind his back. He's the first to say it. Anyway, let me just finish my coffee quickly. So, yeah, onto the whips. So, this is the sock I started. I did put it, can't remember. And I've actually picked up the stitches on the side. Okay, so how this works, for those of you who don't know how a heel flap and gusset works. You do the cuff, then you do the sock, the leg, then you make the heel flap, which is this bit over here. See? And then you form this little triangle bit over there. And when you've done that, you pick up the stitches around the sides, and then this will be the front of your foot. So you pick up the stitches on the side, you go around, you pick up these stitches, and you pick up these stitches, and you pick them up and you knit them. Now guys, for me, this was a bit of a mystery. When I started out doing this, I remember watching this tutorial, and it was a fantastic tutorial, but that's why I'm putting the one down below, because that one was even better for me. Pick up a knit. I did not understand what that meant. I thought I had to pick up all these stitches, go back and knit them, and that was a disaster. You literally pick it up and knit it while you pick it up, and anyway, it was very, very interesting. So what I wanted to say was, I started doing this video. I've got a tripod thingy majiggy that my son gave me, my younger son. Well, he didn't give it to me. He said he bought it for me, but then he took it for himself, and then I told him, can I please use it now? And it's working just fine. But because it's his, I'm so worried it's going to break all the time that I don't have the angles right. So, and I realized if I do a tutorial, it needs to be from the top, you know, so that you can see my hands properly. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it. Needless to say, it's coming out just fine, except for one little teeny tiny problem. The actual video isn't coming out right. My angles aren't correct. So I have one of two options. Either I have to rip this one out to back to the heel flap, or I have to start a new one. I think I'm starting a new one. I just don't feel like ripping this out at all. I don't feel like ripping it out at all, because it's at that spot where I have to start doing the gusset decreases and stuff, and I'm not feeling it. I don't want to rip it out. I just want to continue on the sock and finish it. And then I want to do the second sock in this. Now this, by the way, is some of my hand-dyed yarn. It's actually purely experimental. But just before I go on about the rest, just check this color, how it's knitting up. Now, I know this is not for everybody, but this is so me. This is so me. This is like zigzag in all sorts of different directions, and then it's zigging up to there and zagging back to that side. No, I love it. Anyway, so I've got a purple one in this experimental colorway, and I've got an orange one, and I'm actually thinking of just taking it for myself, all of them, because I absolutely love it. So anyway, never mind. That's that. And then about in 2018, I was gifted the Weekender pattern, and I sometimes, and this is going to be a very controversial subject, but I'm sometimes thinking sorry, my hair's irritating me in the meantime, that the whole thing of copyright is just taken too far. I believe if somebody bought something, it's theirs. So if they want to share it with someone else and not share it as their own pattern, it's theirs. It's like saying you can't buy a book and borrow it to somebody or give it away or something. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, never mind. That's a whole different story. And my hair is still irritating me. If you have not noticed, I need to go for a haircut. Anyway, I digress. But the Weekender pattern of Andrea Mari was gifted to me. And I said, okay, it came about because I had a conversation with someone. And I said, you know what, I'm really interested in this pattern. But I've got so many patterns that I bought that I read these patterns and I honestly don't understand a word they're saying. One of them, for instance, I mentioned this before in a previous episode, was the no frills sweater. And I particularly bought it because it says no frills sweater. and the short rows are being done with the raglan increases, and that's just, I can't get past that bit. It sounds really stupid, but I can't get past that bit. It's like it's too much in one row. And if I'm not going to use, if I'm going to do it the way I always do it, I do the short rows and the raglan separately, then I might as well just have used any other pattern, you know? Use the tin can knits pattern and just done some short rows in between. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying, I hope. Some patterns you buy because they're not clear, like on the platform where you buy them. They seem fantastic until you actually sit down and you realize this is not going to work for me. And I have a couple of them. And for instance, I've got a Hoey Locatelli pattern that really worked well for me, and I'm going to make something more out of that. It's the easy bulky one, but her way of knitting is completely different from many of the other designers. She always starts at the shoulder, almost, I think, old school. In a way, she starts at the shoulder and goes onto the next shoulder and that sort of thing. And I actually understood that pattern quite well, and I've got one sweater knit up in that, which I'm going to go rip out very soon. I'm just going to make a new one. That one the yarn was way too thick. I used a yarn that I should actually just use for like beanies and stuff like that. Anyway, different story. So, but some of our other patterns I still don't really understand. I have noticed that some of the patterns, if I just start knitting it, I should be fine. With her patterns, I have found that if I just sit down, if I print out the pattern, I sit down and I start knitting it like step by step, then I'm fine. The no frill sweater, that didn't work. I tried, it didn't work for me. I know it will work for millions of other people, just didn't work for me. So anyway, long story short, that's what the conversation was about. And this lady gifted me the pattern, and I told her, okay, I'm going to try this pattern, and if I can actually succeed in making a weekender, I'll buy it. I will definitely buy it. So I had the pattern now since, honestly, 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. 2018 or early 2019 somewhere. I had this pattern. It was lying there, and people keep putting it on Instagram. I made the weekend now, and I thought, you know what? I've never done a bottom up sweater, and I'm really scared. And I don't really have the yarn, and anyway, I did it. And I have come this far. And it turns out it really isn't that difficult. No, it's not difficult at all. So if there's anyone out there hesitating about this pattern, it's very easy, really. That's just that bit in the middle is just the slip stitch. I was more concerned with this because I've never done a split hem before, not even with sewing. I've never done that before. So I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to understand what I'm supposed to do. You know, sometimes you honestly don't credit yourself, stuff like that. I am using this yarn, which is my DK base, my winter DK base, my favorite one. It is 100%, no, 50% merino. It's non-superwash. And then it has 25% alpaca, baby alpaca, 25% kid mohair. So I've got these, see, greens, and I have 3 of them left. So far I've used 4 of these skeins, and I know that it's not enough. Although, to be honest, I'm not so sure. Because I've got, I'll check now, my centimeters. It's supposed to be 38. My hat. Wait a minute. 38. No, it won't be that much. 38 centimeters. Over there. From... Sorry, I'm measuring it. I still got a good way to go. I've got about... I don't know how many... Still about 28 centimeters to go. But, I mean, I'm not even done with one skein yet. So, I don't know. I'll see. I do have this one left as well. And I'm thinking, for safety's sake, I'm gonna take up this one and fade it into the gray, into the green, and that should work out just fine. So say when I'm at about, say, 28 centimeters, start fading it into the top and doing the top in the gray and the top of the arms as well, because that will be the yoke anyway, and do the rest of the sleeves with the green. I'm actually thinking about that. So that would be playing it safe. That will leave me with 5 skeins, and that should be more than enough. I think I may actually have some left over. So yes, that will be playing it safe. I'll see when I get there. Also, I started this, but I don't think this is going to get further than this. I don't know why. Oh, by the way, I'm using Addies with all of my projects. As I said, the other one is a 2.5, the sock one. This one, I'm at the 5.5 millimeter, 60 centimeter needle. Let me just go find that crochet hook quickly. Okay, so I've got a 5 millimeter crochet hook. This is also an Addie one. Oh, yes. Not so sure, actually. And I started this, which is a granny stripe blanket. And I started it with scrap yarn. Sorry, I just want to finish this one cluster, because I just noticed that somewhere along the line I was completely distracted. I have a lot of scraps like most people do, but I have my hand-dyed scraps, and some of them were from, patterns, colorways that just didn't sell, or like this where I'm like halfway through something and I just stopped. And I've been looking at this whole colorway, this whole granny stripe thing for a while now, and I thought, oh well, I might as well try one. I'm just not sure if it's gonna work. It does get a bit boring. But then maybe, if I'm sitting somewhere doing absolutely nothing, and I'm not in the mood to knit a sock, maybe, I don't know. It's very nice to crochet with wool, by the way. I usually crochet with cotton, And strangely enough, I struggle to knit with cotton. I don't know why, but I really do, because it doesn't have, I think it's because it doesn't have this natural stretch to it. So I'm finding it very, very nice to actually crochet with the wool. But now, as I may have mentioned, this is how much I have left of this little thingy. And then I'm planning on crocheting directly from this. This was just because I had this truckload of scrap yarn, I thought, okay, I'll fade this one in. So this is just like the liner shawl pattern. I started fading it into this. I got bored, so I stopped. I've got a lot of this really thick yarn that is just sitting around. So that may become a blanket. Okay, so let's move on to what my plans are now. Firstly, my plans are to go and just take yarn and cast on another sock and record that over there, in the hope that I will record it better now, to be able to actually record it better. My second plan is to do that. But now I'm already thinking, do you know how long it takes to knit up? Maybe it would be better if I just ripped that one out and got back to the heel flap. I don't know. I'll decide about that a bit later, I think. Then I'll start recording again to try and get the Afrikaans version out. Other than that, tomorrow, that's Tuesday, I am going to visit Serene Palvi. She's the owner of Nova Oils in Durbanville. She's also a stockist of South African yarns. I'm going to go there and just have a chat with her and a recording of said chat. So that I will put on as well. Then we are going away for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. My husband seriously needs to take a break. So we are going away. I don't know where we are going away to. I may or may not record something while we are away. I'm going to try and get a way to be able to have enough internet to be able to share it on YouTube. So I can record, but if I can't share it, then I have an issue. So I'm going to try and do that so that I can record at least next week, have recordings. If I'm not able to do so, you're going to have to excuse me, but really, he needs a break. And we're going to be somewhere in the Karoo. You can follow me on Instagram though, and you will see everything that I'm busy with there. I'll post it there. And sewing. Okay, I'm going to be sewing a lot as well. Today I need to actually set up my sewing machines. With all the moving and stuff, things have gone a bit haywire. So I need to be sewing the clothing line that I started and some bags. Because when we get back from our vacation, I'm going to start doing the markets again. So those of you who know me from the markets, I will be back again from the end of March. And that's going to be great as well. So those are the future plans. You will start noticing some changes in the channel itself. I have found ways to just do a little add-on in the beginning so that it just starts looking a bit more, I'm not going to say professional, because I don't want it to be this really professional site. That's not the idea behind this. I always want it to be casual and light and full of stupid mistakes, because that's life. I don't even want to edit out the stupid mistakes. I figured out how to edit it out. By the way, I figured out the editing bit and what I've been doing wrong. But no, I don't really want to. Unless I really did something very stupid, I'll edit it out. But I really don't want to edit stuff out and make the channel different than what it's supposed to be. At least I have my little corner now, my recording corner. We've got that inconsistent, that's consistent. And I'm going to have like the intro bit. And I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. And I will probably start promoting a couple of companies that I actually believe in. Again, those who know me well, I don't promote stuff that I don't believe in. If I don't believe in it, I just don't promote it. So if I don't know what I'm promoting, if I've never used it, if it makes no sense to me, I'm not going to be promoting it. But the two companies that I think I would like to promote actually is Faithful to Nature and Skillshare. And then I've got one or two others in mind, but I'm thinking about it, to be honest. Their links will be down below in the description box. I still have to, there's quite a lot of steps that need to be taken before I can do that. Okay, that's it for today, I think. I don't think anything else will be needed. I hope you guys are staying safe and you've had a good weekend and that your week will be fantastic and productive. And yes, please take care of yourself. I think trying to find the words to say what I'm thinking. And I've said this before. I honestly believe that this whole pandemic thing has a good side as well. I think it's brought many people back to an understanding of life and how precious it is and how short it can be. So to anyone out there who's suffering at the moment, who's struggling with losses, I truly pray for you that you will find peace. I only have one place that I can tell you that I have found peace, and that's with Jesus. But I truly pray for you for peace and just to find a way. There's such a lot of stuff that can be said, and none of them will remove the sadness or your pain. So just know that there are people thinking of you. To anyone working currently still in the front lines, my heart goes out to you guys. We've had so many people in our lives who had to go to a hospital, and one of our friends just said, it is, I can't say this without getting all emotional, but he just said it's terrible. It's terrible to see how nurses are being shouted at and abused and screamed at, and they understaffed. They can only do what they can do. Some of them are working still 12-hour shifts. Guys, please take that into account before you start complaining about wearing a mask. I hate wearing a mask. Please don't get me wrong. I don't wear a mask unless I absolutely have to. But before you climb in your car with alcohol in your system, before you go to a shop and refuse to wear a mask or sanitize your hands, please, guys, there are nurses out there and doctors that are medical staff that are really suffering. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but this is something I feel needs to be said, and it needs to be said over and over again so that people will understand, because somehow people still think that the nurses and the doctors are making things worse than they really are. And I can only testify from the mouth of a close friend of ours. And he said they worked 12-hour shifts right in the beginning of, we had this real spike in this from November. Right in the beginning, they would be working 12-hour shifts, and then a nurse would get sick. Then there wouldn't be enough nurses, and the same nurse that worked a 12-hour shift would come back on her resting day and would come work again. So you're talking of nurses working 24-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts without breaks in between. So please be patient with them, and let's just keep to the guidelines for the sake of other people, not for the sake of ourselves, but for the sake of those who have to deal with this on a daily basis, that we don't have to. Anyway, that's my tangent for the day. And I'll try and not put another one in. But yes, that's my tangent for the day. I hope you guys are will have a great week. Please take care of yourselves. And thank you again for following me. Love you dearly. Bye.